Hello everyone, welcome to this edition of MeteoMark's Weather. It's great to have you here with me today. We're going to be talking, strangely, about a very bizarre storm. We're going to look at the potential for maybe the system to transition to subtropical or even tropical. The chances are low, but it is a very strange system for this time of year. We're going to be going over the tropics. We'll also be looking at the rest of the tropics for the Caribbean, the Western Atlantic, and the Gulf, as well through Central America. And I'll show you your entire winter storm outlook over the next couple weeks as we head through the first couple weeks of March as well. And we'll potentially look at another Gulf-type system maybe forming once again. Let's get into it. And we're going to be watching this Gulf Coast area. Look at from Louisiana all the way down to Florida. These areas looking at a solid 3. And I think some areas could see as much as 5 or 6 inches locally here from Louisiana all the way over to portions of Florida and the northern Bahamas. All right, so looking at our future radar here, all eyes are on our system here in the Gulf, bringing heavy rain from Louisiana all the way through southern Mississippi, Alabama, Panhandle of Florida, and most importantly this is 4 a.m. on Monday morning. Look what's going to be happening here. We got a squall line, lots of tropical moisture associated with this. And as we head through 10 a.m., 11 a.m., you can start to see what's going to be happening with this system. It's right out over parts of the eastern Gulf here. So this is where 8 p.m., it's Monday evening, we really start to get this moisture, this deep tropical moisture moving in here from the west. And we'll continue to watch it here. This is something that has a low chance of developing into anything subtropical or even tropical at this point. Chances increase out here over the Western Atlantic. But as you can see here through 8 a.m., this is the 25th on Tuesday morning. Florida is going to be dealing with some torrential rains moving through here, and eventually the Bahamas as this thing moves out over the Western Atlantic towards Bermuda. All right, so let's take a look at the GFS model here for our potential. Actually, I shouldn't say potential. It actually is our Gulf Coast system here, moving across southern Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, the Panhandle of Florida. As we head through 1 a.m. on Monday, you can see what is going to be happening across Florida here. Well, there's that big area of deep convection, moisture, and potential squall line there moving through parts of central Florida there. So there it is moving across South Florida. By 7 p.m. on Monday, the northern Bahamas. And this thing really does start to get cranking here, as you can see, confirming just our mesoscale model here. You can see that pushing out over towards Bermuda by the 25th here. So we get towards Tuesday into Wednesday. There's going to be a lot of gusty wind action going on there. So if we just flip over to our, here it is, precipitation type here, we can go into our winter mode here. So obviously what's going to be looking at across parts of the northern tier here with respect to our snow shower action, you can see there it is, the 26th and the 27th, we get some showers, rain showers actually, as far north as the New York State Thruway, Tug Hill Plateau, and then through the 27th, we do start to see some colder air filter in on the backside of the system. Maybe a squall line setting up here, and we'll confirm that on the European model momentarily here. But behind it, we're going to see some scattered snow shower action. Another Clipper-type system for 28th on Friday that moves some snow showers through Cleveland, northwestern Pennsylvania, upstate New York, and tries to go coastal here towards Nova Scotia, southern New Brunswick, into the Gulf of Maine here. Now, we do get a little bit of a flare up here March 2nd into the 3rd. Look at this. I wanted to point this out to you. Another system that looks really strange. Could this go subtropical on us? It's looking very much like the previous low pressure that we saw track across the Gulf and that will exit off the coast of Florida. Now look at March 5th here. This is where things get to set up really interesting. There is a lot of warm air on this run. So it's been pushing this 32-degree line with the ice and the snow further north, and I'll confirm that on the European model momentarily for you. But here's the March 6th storm, squall line down into parts of the south, and then look it up here into parts of the northeast. You do start to get cold air filtering in on the backside of this low-pressure system, and that is where you're going to see that snowfall action. Look at 980 millibar low here into the Gulf of Maine. That's going to push snow all the way up into New Brunswick. I'll show you my Canadian weather outlook in several minutes from now. Look at these tight isobars, though. That's going to be some strong winds moving out. So ultimately, you can see as we head into March, all the way through, here's another storm here right around the 10th. We do start to get more chances of heavy snow moving through parts of the interior Northeast, Ohio Valley, Midwest, back through the plains here. And if we take a look at the European run here it is. Starting off across Louisiana here, and as we progress in time, this low pressure system is going to move throughout the eastern Gulf here towards the coastline of Florida, Tampa, right around daybreak on Monday. You can see this heavy rain moving up through and then down through parts of central Florida as we head throughout noon and the late afternoon hours, the low pressure approaching Miami here with tremendous amounts of rain entering the northern Bahamas here. Torrential rains, a squall line. So likely, if I back this up just a little bit, you can see the squall line just moving through Florida here. And it's possible this could become some sort of subtropical entity as it moves north of the Bahamas and eventually towards Bermuda as we head towards noon on Tuesday. So there it is, moving out to sea. It's all rain, obviously, but lots of warm air with this system. So we'll keep an eye on it here. Both all the major models as well as the mesoscale models, as I showed you, are indicating some sort of system here. And as we just go further out in time, you can see this next system behind on Thursday is all rain, maybe a few snow showers if I just push this through. Here's Wednesday, this moving throughout northern Ohio on early Thursday morning, Wednesday night, Thursday morning. Showers moving east here, and then some snow showers on the backside, maybe some showers, and even some thunderstorms as far north as New Jersey here. But look at behind it, we get the snow shower action Friday, and then another clipper moves in with some scattered snow showers here on the northern side, northeast Ohio, western Pennsylvania, into New York, and then eventually New England as we push through Sunday here. A little bit colder behind as a cold high pressure kicks in, and look at, we have another system pushing in here to the Gulf Coast area. So Gulf Coast region, we're going to have a couple of these kind of storms. We're going to have to keep a very close watch as this one pushes down towards the Northwest Caribbean. Look at this, though. As we head towards March 6th, Thursday, March 6th, we get a big storm developing across the plains, upper Mississippi River Valley here. This looks like a big one. Trends have been trending further north and west here with a 984 millibar low, with a squall line across eastern Ohio, northwest Pennsylvania, western, southwestern Pennsylvania, all the way down the Appalachians here. As far east as northern New Jersey, New York City, you could be seeing a squall line right around Thursday, March 6th here. Look at the backside of it, though. A flash freeze with heavy snow on the backside of it through the eastern Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, and eventually into the Northeast as this really intensifies March 7th here. Winds up to see those isobars. That's some tremendous wind. High pressure building in, another little clipper moving through, and then we get another system right around the 9th. You see there's some cold air on the north side as we get this high pressure locking in that cold air, and this might try to go coastal on us. So we're getting into a very active weather pattern as we head through early to mid-March here. You see the northern side, those northern fringes, as where we'll get that mixed precipitation and heavy wet snow. And here we go with the liquid equivalent precipitation here. Look at this. Yeah, along the Gulf Coast area, that is where we'll see the 1 to 3 inch amounts, especially across central Florida from Tampa all the way just north of Miami here. As we do go further out in time, you can see this is our latest GFS run. Heavy rain moving through the Bahamas. So would not be surprised if some of these areas see up to 4, maybe as much as 6 inches of rain in some of the heaviest downpours here. And as we just go further out in time, you can ultimately see we're going to set up for a very stormy March here across the Ohio Valley, eastern Great Lakes. Some of these areas eclipsing more than 4 to 6 inches of liquid equivalent. If we take a look at the European run here, very similar situation with our storm along the Gulf Coast region. You can see right through southeastern Louisiana, another 1, 2, maybe 3 inches. Florida, yeah, we're looking at that 3 to 4, maybe as much as 5 inches in some of these areas. And then some of the northern Bahamas here could get up to 5 to 7 inches of rain. And as we just continue through time here, you can see the storm pattern opens up from the Mississippi River Valley up to the Ohio River Valley, the eastern Great Lakes, into the interior Northeast. As we get through that first and second week of March, we could be looking at liquid equivalent up to 3+ inches. And here we go. I'm sure some of you want to know about any snowfall. Well, we're not going to have much, at least through this week. Maybe a little bit here as we get to next weekend, right around Friday and Saturday, up through parts of the eastern Great Lakes. We could be looking at 3-4 inches into the snow belts. But look at this. As we go on time, it's going to be right around that, that second weekend of March into the second week of March. Look at this. Parts of northeast Ohio, Pennsylvania, up to 6 to 8 inches, as well up into the interior northeast. This is a trend we'll have to keep an eye on here. And looking over to the GFS here, yeah, this week is not very impressive. We get to later Friday night and Saturday, there is some sort of clipper here into parts of the northeast where we get up to 4, 5, 6 inches. So we'll be watching here on the backside of that storm as we head into next week. And then look at this as we progress towards... There it is. March 6th, southern Michigan, northern Ohio, upstate New York, Pennsylvania. Things really do start to become more active here. Winter is not fully over yet, and I still think we could see some snowstorm action. Look at even here into northern Virginia, Delmarva region. This is right around... this is going pretty far out, but we're getting to right around the 11th, 10th and the 11th of March there. So something to keep an eye on here. Interior Northeast, Midwest here could be looking at some heavy snow. Upper air pattern is supportive of a ridge, at least for the most part, through the east through the end of February. Until we get to the last day of February, we do start to get that troughiness with that potential storm setting up along the East Coast. And then we get another one on the 2nd of March. A big firecracker ridge taking over right around the 5th of March, but that's quickly replaced by another, looks like a negatively tilted trough here. And we're going to see a series of pieces of energy and troughiness along the U.S. East Coast and Canada here as we get through the second week of March. And if we just take a look at our GFS run, that's going to confirm it here. Look at the GFS even going more crazier here on February 28th. But look at this. Yeah, these troughs really setting up with a ridge, the first couple days of March into March 5th, but that's quickly replaced by some major storminess right around the 7th. And then look at that, a ridge taking over come the 11th. So the models begin to diverge sometime around the second week of March. And if we take a look at the NAO index here, remaining positive through the rest of February into March, it does start to go a little bit more neutral towards the middle of March. And looking at our MJO index, yeah, this is actually quite the opposite of our NAO index, showing that we are in phases 8 and going to 1 to 2, which is very active, which would support cold and snowfall across eastern North America, especially as we head through the first half of March. And before we continue with more weather coverage, don't forget, if you made it this far in the video and you like it, smash that like button, everyone. It really does help. Question or comment down below. I love to read your questions or comments. And don't forget, if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe bell notification button so you're alerted with all my future weather video updates. Let's continue. And Derek Rentschler from Lebanon County, Pennsylvania. Looks like he's sending me a blast from the past here, January 19th, back in 2024. Last year, a time lapse of the snow. It's a 2-minute one. If we just progress it a little bit here, you can see the snow being captured quite readily here. So this was the beginning of 2024. Look at that snowfall just piling up across the region. Some nice snow action, visibility being reduced here in Lebanon County, Pennsylvania. And you see a nice winter scene there, a nice blast from the past here. Derek Rentschler from Lebanon County, Pennsylvania. Nice capture there. All right, so we're looking at the tropics here. Let's take a look, see what's going on. Of course, I covered our system here that's going to be moving from the Eastern Gulf into the Western Atlantic, and all eyes are going to be on that for any potential development. As I said, the development potential is low, but it's there. The fact that it is there is something to say. Now, we're going to take a look at the GFS here first, and then the European model. You can see that deep tropical moisture moving across the Bahamas. The tail end of it will potentially clip the Cayman Islands, Jamaica, and eventually Haiti and the Dominican Republic here. Watch this as we head on into the 25th, 26th, flaring up some showers around the Dominican Republic, and then some scattered showers and heavier showers moving through the Central Lesser Antilles here as we head through the 28th into the 29th. You do start to see another frontal boundary try to move through the Gulf here towards the northwestern Caribbean, and that all eyes will be on that right around the March 1st timeframe. We do get a flare-up of some scattered showers around Dominican Republic with it, Turks and Caicos of Bahamas. And look at this, Central America looking a little drier during this forecast period as we head into the first week of March. You can see the 3rd into the 4th, we start to see this next frontal boundary move in from the northwest. We'll see how far to the south and the east this will get. It kind of washes out, and it does bring some heavier showers around the Dominican Republic, Haiti, and through much of the Bahamas. Puerto Rico looking a little drier through this forecast period until we get to about the 6th into the 7th. We do just get some more scattered shower action moving in Trinidad, Tobago getting some heavier showery squalls there moving through. And then we head towards the 9th into the 10th. We get into the second week of March, and it does start to look a little bit more quiet. We just have some scattered showers scattered throughout much of the Caribbean. And thanks to Tropical Tidbits here for our European model analysis of the Caribbean, Gulf, Western Atlantic, Central America. So as we cruise right through, here it is. Early Monday, there's our system across the Gulf that I speaked about earlier in the video here. We are continuing to watch this as a problem spot unfolding for parts of the Gulf Coast from Louisiana down all the way through, especially the Florida Peninsula as we head through Monday. Monday is your day for that squall line, along with some torrential rains, northern Bahamas. We can actually trail that cold front and follow it all the way down to Belize and the Cayman Islands here. You're going to see some flare-ups of this tropical moisture. And look at this. As we head throughout Tuesday, this low pressure, whatever it becomes, it could become subtropical. We'll keep an eye on it here. It's a low chance, but nevertheless, we'll watch it. It's dragging that front here along the southern end, along with that. It's like a feed of tropical moisture conveyor belt here. And look at that. We do start to get into Wednesday here, where it does start to infringe on the southeastern Bahamas, Turks Caicos area, Cayman Islands through Jamaica, Dominican Republic, Haiti, and Puerto Rico eventually here, eastern Cuba. So watch out. This is going to flare up to the east here. Wednesday's your day right around the island of Hispaniola, Puerto Rico, and Jamaica. Look at that trail, conveyor belt of moisture from the Pacific all the way northward towards our strengthening system up here towards the Canadian Maritimes at that point. So yeah, it's going to be a busy time of it here, especially across the north central part of the Caribbean. So that nice weather pattern you had there in Dominican Republic, those surrounding areas, it's going to change a little bit come midweek, and then it'll, equalize back out here, which is kind of nice. So here we go. The last day of February, we're talking about some scattered showers, especially in the northern Lesser Antilles through Puerto Rico, Jamaica, Cayman Islands down through Honduras, and Costa Rica down here. Look at that. Some heavy rain moving through. Now look at, as we head through the first day of March into the second, you do see these scattered showers moving on these east-northeasterly trade winds. We do have another front that's kind of washing out in the facility here. It's just north of the Dominican Republic, southeastern Bahamas through Jamaica, all the way down to just eastern Honduras and Nicaragua here. So we'll continue to watch it here. It seems like the middle of each week we're getting those fronts move through, and we got a lot of tropical moisture feeding into this March 5th, so watch out. There's going to be a lot of shower and thunder shower activity here, some heavier tropical downpours expected. And then here we go through Thursday, March 6th into the March 7th, 8th time frame. Yeah, we are looking at another piece of energy dive across the eastern Gulf here, and we could be looking at another flare-up of this area of low pressure. A very similar type of low taking shape here. So could we see another subtropical low? What could happen with this system? I'll keep you posted here, because we're 100 days out from hurricane season, and it's seeming like we're a lot closer. And then I'll leave you with this frame here, March 10th, just some scattered showers across the north central part of the Caribbean. And looking at our sea surface temperature anomaly analysis, the Gulf off the southeast coast and the western Atlantic into the Caribbean is just well above average. We're 100 days out from hurricane season, and look at this. We already have 1.5 to 3.5 degrees above average here. So it's not unheard of to have these subtropical systems try to spin up, but it is very rare. This is very unusual and bizarre. And looking at the rainfall here on our European run, it is a quiet start to the week here. If we can get this to actually move, not sure what's going on here. There we go. Okay, so here we go as we head through Thursday. Most of the rain bottled up here across the Bahamas with our big potential disturbance, whatever this thing becomes, whether it becomes a subtropical storm or remains just like a disturbance type of feature here. Very strange area of low pressure for this time of year. But here we go. As we stretch into that first full week of March, look at how we moisten things up across Jamaica here. Think you're going to see closer to 60 to 90 millimeters of rainfall here. Look at Dominican Republic too. You've seen a nice run. I know some of my viewers in the Dominican Republic have says it's been really nice, but look at this. Things get rainier as we head into that first and second week of March. Look at this. We're especially in the western Dominican Republic towards 100 millimeters here. Eastern Dominican Republic looking a little bit less here, towards 20 to 40 millimeters, I should say, on average here. Puerto Rico looking about the same here. And through Central America, the northern coastline of Honduras, you're going to get upwards of 40, maybe 50 millimeters here. And I just wanted to flip over to the GFS run here. Look at this. Yeah, it's a fairly quiet week until we head into the first week of March, into the second week through March 11th here. Look at this. Jamaica, especially the eastern part, getting upwards of 60 to 80 millimeters here. Look at eastern Nicaragua, northern Honduras, southern Belize here. You're getting upwards of about an average of 50 to 90 millimeters here. Now, Puerto Rico, this is where you'll eke out probably closer to 2.5, 3 inches in some locations. Look at the northern Bahamas, though. This is where you're going to get, I think you could easily get in excess of 100 millimeters here. And if we look at the Eastern Caribbean here, a similar scenario is setting up here as we continue to go through this week. Pretty dry for the most part until late week and the next weekend. We do start to get those splash and dash showers moving in, anywhere from about 35 to 60 millimeters on average. But look at this. As we head through that first into that second week of March, look what starts to happen here. We get these areas, these bullseyes of heavier rainfall, and that's going to get you up towards 90 to 110 millimeters here in some of these regions. So watch out. These east-northeasterly trade winds are going to bring in that moisture. It does look like most of the moisture with our strange system and frontal boundary remains to the north of many of the Caribbean islands, only clipping the northern and central Bahamas. And looking at our Canadian weather outlook, what is going on up here into Canada? Well, we have a very strong clipper type system. It's way north, though. Look at this. Northern Ontario will spread those heavy snow showers all the way down into southern Ontario and Quebec as we head towards the 23rd into the 24th here. Obviously, as we're getting on into parts of later Monday here. Look at how fast it's moving, though. As we move into New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, it does kind of lighten up a bit. High pressure building in behind it here. What is our next major system? Well, it's going to be either the west coast here, where we have all this deep Pacific moisture moving north, and then we got a little clipper system moving across the lakes into the northeast, the 26th into the 27th. It does try to go coastal on New Brunswick, but look at how far the rain snow line moves as that low tracks just inland here. Here's another clipper. It's south of the Canadian-U.S. border here. Very quiet as we head to the first week of March here, with the exception for the 3rd. Look what starts to happen. We get this moisture from the Pacific Northwest to the U.S. Then we got a strong clipper with a lot of snow shower and wind action diving south. That'll flare up towards the 4th into the 5th. Another system from the U.S. overrunning moisture. This is one to watch. This could give southern Ontario and Quebec some very heavy snowfall here, all the way through Toronto, Ottawa, and Quebec City up here. Look at this. New Brunswick. Looks like another inland cutter for Nova Scotia, so a mixed bag event as well. But that one strengthens up towards the Canadian Maritimes, and it leaves us with a very clear and quiet, except for the 11th here, right around Toronto, where you could see another system from the United States bring in overrunning snowfall. And I did want to touch on the potential for this system to come up towards the Canadian Maritimes, as you can see, as we head on into the day from the 25th into the 26th midweek here. This system is actually going to come up here to affect parts of Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, and eventually, as we get towards Newfoundland here, you can see quite a bit in the way of storm action here. We're going to be looking at that potential, a major low pressure system. Of course, by this time, even if there was tropical characteristics or subtropical characteristics with this system, it would be at this point, extra tropical, a cold core system. Now, precipitation type, obviously on the backside of this would be blizzard conditions here on the backside of this low pressure system. So if we just follow this up again, here we come midweek, and then up through the 26th into the 27th, hit to Newfoundland here. And for Canadian snowfall amounts here, yeah, we're looking at a lot of snow from the west coast all the way to southeast Canada, especially as we get into March. Right around that second week of March, we're going to really open up the pattern here for parts of southeast Canada. Look at this. We could be looking in excess of 20 to 40 centimeters total out of all these storms as we get into southern Ontario, Quebec, New Brunswick, parts of northern Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, over to Newfoundland, the Canadian Maritimes, the west coast of Canada getting hammered, the mountains here upwards of 60 plus centimeters. And look at a generalized, if we look at our scale here, 15 to 25 centimeters here across much of Saskatchewan, Manitoba, much of Ontario province into interior parts of Quebec as well. So let's look at our temperatures throughout the week here. This is going to feel like spring. Look at this. 40s and 50s well up into the Ohio Valley, Mid-Atlantic region. Look at 60s all the way up into the Carolinas. Florida's in the 70s, even western Texas getting into the 80s, 60s, all the way up to South Dakota here. If we just progress throughout the week here, Tuesday, you can see the heat building here. Look at that, almost 70 at the nation's capital, 43 in Cleveland, 40 in Rochester. And as we progress throughout the week, Wednesday, look at this 60-degree line making it into southern Ohio here, almost near Pittsburgh. Nation's capital eclipsing, 60 degrees here. And look at this, as we head through Thursday, we get a little bit of a cool down here into the 40s, but that's still well above average. 60s here into the plains, 70s all the way up into eastern North Carolina here in a Friday. Look at this, we get a little bit of a cool shot coming in through the lakes. Cleveland is still above 40 over to Scranton and Boston. But watch this, as we head on into the weekend here, we get on into next Saturday, March 1st, first day of March, hey, you can't ask for better weather than this, because look at this, 40s throughout the Mid-Atlantic, Ohio Valley, 50s and even some 60s here into Virginia, the Carolinas, and 70s along the Gulf Coast. Extended forecast from hometown viewers, Binghamton to Scranton, Susquehanna, River, New York, and Pennsylvania. This is a very warm week. Look at this. We start off in the mid-40s and go to the upper 40s by midweek. We'll have a chance of showers Monday night into Tuesday. But for the most part, we get another chance of showers with that front approaching Thursday night. A little bit cooler Friday, but we're still above average into the upper 30s. And before we continue with more weather coverage, check out these amazing, awesome maps from my affiliate here.
I am proud to announce that I am now an affiliate with Trilogy Maps. TrilogyMaps.com, bringing you the most digital, customizable maps found nowhere else on the internet. These maps are simply stunning. It's an advanced layering system that makes these maps great for making forecast maps with ease, or any other maps that you would like to display important information on. The resolution on these maps is simply amazing. From the detail of everything here in the States, and you can also create stunning, digital, professional layered maps from also across the entire world. And don't forget, in checkout, the discount code option, use my code, MeteoMark, hit apply, and you will get 20% off your order. So if you want the most professional, customizable, and affordable weather maps found nowhere else on the internet, look no further than TrilogyMaps.com. Link in the description down below along with your discount code.
As always, thank you for joining me for this edition of MeteoMark's Weather. Also, don't forget to join me on Facebook at MeteoMark, also Weather Northeastern, also Twitter at Weather Eastern. Don't forget, it's MeteoMark.com. And don't forget, if you want to send me a coffee, there is a link, Super Thanks. You can smash that Super Thanks button, or my PayPal link in the description down below. You can buy me a cup of coffee. Thanks, everyone. Share that video. Subscribe if you haven't. Smash that like button.